Look at those mushrooms! Holy smokes!
Let's go take a walk in the yard.
Yeah, let's go see some mushrooms! Come on, the forest is better to see mushrooms.
Now that we're looking, we're finding so many little mushrooms all over the yard. We never saw them before because they were so tiny. We started looking for mushrooms in our yard this fall, and we've really been surprised at how many we found. As you can see, our yard has a lot of big trees. Most of them are western red cedar and things like that. There's also a lot of old stumps. That's where we see a lot of our mushrooms growing. Some of them seem to be coming up from the ground from old wood that's rotting in the ground as well. We have quite the patch of shaggy manes that comes up each year in our driveway. This is about a 2-week span of them growing, and at the very end they turn into this inky pile of goo, and it's pretty cool. We found mushrooms that represent most of the major mushroom forms. Of course, the majority were guild mushrooms, and we have quite a variety of those. But we also found some cup fungi, some jelly fungi. There's some good-sized boletes that have bright yellow pores underneath. You can see the tubes there on the side. When it's cut, it also bruises sort of bluish color. Polypores and crust fungi. My favorite is this glossy purplish one. It's so weird. Some minuscule examples from the club, coral, and fan-like group.
1, 2, 3.
Last but certainly not least, the funnest of mushrooms, the puffballs.
They're mushrooms!
So,
Hi, I'm picking mushrooms because to do research on them. That's the mushroom tip. Look at these mushrooms. They are so cool. Aren't they cool? But let's take them in and do some spore prints.
okay, so we have our cups and our mushroom caps from yesterday that we collected in the yard. And we're going to take a look and see if we have any spore prints here. So under our cup, help me flip them over.
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh, so we got a couple. Ooh, that one's really good.
Ooh, that one's awesome.
Cool. So those little mushrooms have brown spores. Okay, let's look at the next one.
Put these back.
Whoa, look at how shriveled up and tiny this one got. It's like so, it didn't leave any spores, or if it did, they're white. Almost pretty much gone. Ooh, that one stinks. It has a smell to it.
Oh gosh!
Oh, and look it didn't leave any spores either. Or if it did, they're white. Well, okay. So
Well,
I'll have to take a look in our new mushroom guide and see if we can figure out what those ones that left the brown spores are.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we've seen the spore prints, let's try to identify these mushrooms. To do this, we will be following a dichotomous key derived from our guidebook. With our mushroom in mind, does our mushroom have a cap or defined underside? In our case, yes. Our mushroom has a cap and an underside. If it didn't, we would ask the question, is it brain-like or cup-shaped? Given that it does have an underside, we now ask, does it have gills? Looking at the underside of the mushroom, we can clearly see this has light brown gills. The next question in the dichotomous key is, what were the color of the spore prints? If we think back, we remember that they were not pink or white, but they were brown in color. So let's go with brown. We've now reached our first tier classifier, a brown spored gilled mushroom. Let's continue on. Next, we ask the question, does it have a partial veil? A veil is the piece of flesh that comes out of the base of the cap and attaches to the stipe. In our case, we do not have a partial veil. We're going to ask the question, does this grow in clusters? And based off our pictures, yes it does. The next question is, does the mushroom have a skirt? A skirt is a piece of flesh that exists about 3/4 of the way up the stipe. We also further need to ask, is this a medium or large mushroom? In our case, we don't have a skirt and our mushroom is very fragile, so let's go down this path. Next we ask, is the cap glutinous or is it dry? In our case, this is a very dry mushroom. And now we're ready to reveal what we think this mushroom is. And we believe this mushroom is genus Inocybe. Genus Inocybe mushrooms typically have a commonly dull brown cap. They're small to medium size. They often have a conical or bell-shaped cap. They have dull brown spores, and it has a spermatic, fishy, or green corn husk smell to them. Now, we're not experts, and we followed the dichotomous key the best we could. So if you think you got a different answer, please leave it in the comments and we'll address it in a future episode. Thank you for watching this episode and sharing in our backyard adventure. Please tune in to see our part 2 of Growing at Home, where we'll share a few tips, describe some of our setbacks, and update you on our progress. Thank you.